Tribe, Book 2, Todd Mills Mystery. Author, R.D. Zimmerman. Publisher, Scrib Pub, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Narrator, Eric Aust. Chapter 12. Cradling Ripka in her arms, as she sat on the couch, Janice was just starting to doze off when she heard an odd noise, a thunk of sorts from somewhere within the house. At once her eyes popped open and she glanced toward the entry hall, half expecting to see Todd returning. Had he gotten stuck? Had the storm proved too much for his four-wheel drive vehicle? But no, there was no one, and the silence hung in the house like an invisible fog. Must have been the snow, she thought, glancing out the large front windows. Must have been a sheet of snow sliding off the roof and onto the bushes, or an icicle. Must have crashed down. When Ripka started to squirm in her arms, Janice said, "Sweetheart, I think you're hungry, aren't you?" As if she understood, the baby smiled back up, her mouth opening in a big, toothless grin. "Oh, yes, you're so pretty and so funny, aren't you?" Janice lifted one teeny hand to her lips and kissed it loudly. "Wouldn't you like a bit more to eat? Would that help you sleep a little better?" Dear God, thought Janice, staring down into this little bundle. She'd never known such pure happiness. She'd never imagined she could be. Well, so gaga over a baby. If the guys at the law office could only see her now. Scooting to the edge of the couch, she held the baby in her left arm, grabbed a clean white cloth, then pushed herself to her feet. She didn't ever want to put her down, to lose her. Never. Baby Ripka. Janice started for the kitchen, cooing and rocking the child, whispering. Who knew how or why, or for that matter how long, but the baby was here, and Janice was going to cherish every instant. "Yes, you're here, and you're all mine," she whispered, kissing the infant yet again. "You're mine. Mine, mine." It definitely seemed a miracle that this baby had found her way into Janice's arms. Janice just prayed to God it didn't portend a tragedy. How many days now? 5? And not a word from Zeb. When she wasn't thinking about the baby's health, when she wasn't filled with unspeakable joy at the sight of her very own granddaughter, then Janice's heart was aching with worry, and she had every right to worry. Sure, Zeb had an entire life that she didn't know about, including, of course, parents and aunts and uncles. But damn it all, he'd come into Janice's life and left this child on deposit. So what was going on with him? Dear God, it certainly sounded like drugs, or had he borrowed a bunch of money from some gang or whatever, and then gambled it all away at one of the casinos in her law practice? She'd seen every kind of tragedy, and she knew all too well it could be something like that. Why else would he fear for the child's safety and hide her at Janice's house? Not to mention the baby's mother. Janice didn't even know if Zeb was married or how to find Ripka's own mother. Worried about that one. In the middle of the night, Janice had rolled over, fearful that Zeb had done something like kidnapping Ripka. Hugging the baby and admiring her dark curls, Janice passed from the living room and toward the kitchen. As she was moving through the entry hall, her eye was caught by a blinking red light on the panel of her security system. Broken again. That was all she needed. A couple of months ago, she'd had some painters in, and something had happened. The stupid alarm was going off every 12 hours, its digitized voice calling out morning and night. "Sensor 5, dysfunction. Warning. Sensor 5, dysfunction. Warning." So what had happened now? Had Jeff been playing with the alarm, or had someone broken into her garage, which was also wired? Janice punched in her security code, then the off button. The digital voice called, "Security system off." Yet the red trouble light was still blinking. Wondering if the front door wasn't shut securely, she opened it and then closed it, twisting the bolt shut as was her custom. Still the light flashed, rolling her eyes. Janice walked away, not knowing what the hell it meant, but certain of only one thing: get the baby some food. Ripka was starting to squirm and grow cranky. Janice would deal with the security system later. Her kitchen was a big, bright space, the cabinets a pure white, the countertops a deep forest green. About 3 years ago, she gutted the old kitchen, combined a black hall, and opening up the whole thing, expensive, but worth it. Now, just past the door to the basement, she had an eating area in one corner, a small color TV on a bookshelf, and even a couple of stools at a counter. As she crossed into the space, she rocked the baby and easily imagined the room filled with bright toys, balls, and one of those jumping things hanging from a door frame. She had tons of space here, more than she could ever use. When Zeb surfaced again, maybe she could convince him to move in. From the refrigerator, Janice took a prepared bottle of formula, unscrewed the lid, and added 3 drops from the small vial Zeb had given her. She was about to place the bottle in the microwave when she thought she heard something from the front of the house. "Todd, is that you? We're in the kitchen." She waited a moment, and when there was no response, Janice stepped to the edge of the kitchen, the baby cradled in one arm, the bottle clutched in one hand. She peered down the dark hallway toward the front door, saw no one. The anxiety clear in her voice, she called out, "Todd? Wait a minute. That couldn't be him. The front door, hadn't she just locked it?" Of course. And seeing that the entry was completely deserted and the front door shut tight, a flutter of worry began to stir in her stomach. Had the blinking light of her security system been trying to tell her something after all? She saw that the hall closet door was ajar. Oh God, she thought 3 or 4 times over the last year. The neighbor's cat had snuck into her house and started spraying, and she was going to have a fit if it was Max in the closet, ruining her boots and coats without hesitation. Janice hurried forward and yanked open the door. Something shot out at her, and Janice dropped the baby bottle, clutched Ripka in both arms, and screamed as she was struck on the shoulder. A broom. Oh shit! Janice caught her breath, glanced down, and realized what a nerve case she really was. Just a broom, which now lay on the floor next to a creamy white puddle of formula. A few feet away, Janice spotted the lid to the baby bottle and was about to bend over and reach for it when Ripka's mouth opened in a terrified shriek. "It's okay," soothed Janice. "I'm sorry, Ripka. I scared you, didn't I? It's okay. Everything's fine." She held her tightly, kissed her on her smooth, round cheek, and turned toward the kitchen. She'd mop up the mess later. For now, she just had to fix Ripka another bottle, and quick, hurrying back into the bright white space, however, she stopped immediately. The basement door was wide open. "Todd? Jeff?" Her heart started charging. "Hey, you guys, don't fool around like this." Before she could ponder another thought, a complete stranger stepped out from behind one of the cabinets, and Janice jumped a second time. Trying to make her voice as strong as possible, she demanded, "Who the hell are you, and what are you doing in my house?" "I've come to save the baby," said the mustached man. "Are you crazy? Get out of here. Get out of here right this minute." It flashed through her mind. Rush to the phone, call 911, run to the security system, hit the panic button. Before she could even flinch, however, the man raised his right arm and trained a pistol directly on her. In response, Janice Gray clutched her granddaughter tightly against her chest. Her voice tougher and deeper than it had ever been, she threatened, "You're going to have to kill me first." A Gay Mysteries audiobooks. I think it is easy to hate a label, but a face humanizes the word. So this effort is twofold: to offer comfort to those like myself that your world didn't end because you don't fit into the view of acceptable society on both sides, and in hopes of helping those with family that are LGBTQ, that it doesn't mean we are aliens from the child they once knew. Reassure them so they can maybe be supportive at the same time, being true to their values.